Okay, so Master Mason note. This one's for you here. I want to give you some notes. I got some of it handed out right now. I got one over to Tompkins, and I busted up a lot of my universal field theory for this one. Well, it's right now with the COVID in the region, stone, and stuff like that. It's just regional. It's good for me on my local net. I think this is the one. Yeah, here we go. I'm a mask app. This is generally like one of my tight pocket ones. I have a resume variable on this. I have my made book model, and depending on which variable, sometimes you get into some high caliber stuff about drug and alcohol case studies. You want to be a nutritionist. You want to be one of those kinds of jobs in there that's good for the grandmother, mother territory. I want a lot of my guys on the workforce bridge crew doing what they need to do. And I mean, there's a lot of good safety analysis spots where there's good, juggling for it and stuff like that. But that's always on the floor, no matter where it is, dollar store, McDonald's. So like I said, I got most of my program out right now. I'd bust out, what I've drawn out for a lot of saws. And I've just physically, you can go find that stuff on my page. I might go ahead and put some pictures on that for you if that's something that you want to actively do. For me, this is a reading. This is, let's find out what your derivative U is based on what you can do for analyzation. You got a kid, you got a dog, you got a pet chinchilla, you like fishing hobbies. Those are great schematicable grafting systems. Sometimes it's the fishing hole being the fly tour guide that knows the topography and flies, and then there's the fly shop marketing guy. I mean, where's the close off on the cutoff on those things is something you want to graph. And regionally, there's a way to design that energy and figure it out. And what that means is sociology for the grocery store, the rotations in the McDonald's, the button series you push that, this mechanic gets into this other one, it's this pickle into this here because that's what they want. And pretty much that's essentially the IKEA build part on that. And you know how to do that. You've got it all written down by steps, so that means every time you do that thing, it's a step, and you want to make sure you specify that to them when you show this. You want this right there, so when if they have a comment section to the job or what your detail models were, you can subpart that to kind of say, oh, all right, I'm at this place. This place is an integrated wood component factory, but they got a lot of machining faculties in here. So the Sawyer bit's going to be good, but right there, you could say, well, what's the cutoff on that? Is it the safety person, the manager person? Do you think that you have the skills to do something like that? Is it going to come off in that tone of frequency when you're right there talking to a boss owner that's going to know in the first week, within the first hour, some very critical things about what 83 is on the ASVAB for this one machine goes in here? And there can be some jobs where that is literally the only thing you do on all day. I mean, cow factories coming around, it's just right to the udder. Cow comes around on some of these high dog manufacturing things where butchering, processing pigs, man, woman, shrimp, I've seen them all in dirty jobs and everything like that. The manufacturing bit on that, but that's not the reason people come stay or lay or pray in some of those places. They're there because it's regional, it's close, it's supposed to help you set up and give you some free time on the XY window, manage the kid, balance the system, your costs, like a business would, inside of those systems. And that's, I talk about it with America, it's all about smoothing and making a new invention for what that is, and that's what a lot of guys want to hire in. That's what a lot of bosses, owners, they want something that attaches to the alien spacecraft here, or the hammer drill that's a tungsten iron, that composition problem. And if that was the job, you're in some chemical plant, or if that's what you want to go at, then you got to have those kinds of frames to come ready for it. And it's hard because you can't have the job without the experience, and without the job you can't get the experience. Yeah. Anyways, So you want to be able to graph a lot of those out. So there's a lot of great ways to do it. You can take one topic, make it an entire thesis. You can go individual. I've done just the write-outs on one whole page. I've done the fronts were write-outs and the backs were the drawings. I've taken individual topics and I've done them in number series. There's a lot of great ways to do it. Figure out which one's handiest and best for you in the region, because a lot of that's going to be an overburden problem. The conservation information is good to have in your free time, but when you're behind the 8 ball looking at what jobs are in the region, I want to be a little bit more specific. For me, I'll have the tight, some things I don't necessarily want to have on there, but if it's the only skill base I have, then I need to be able to take that skill base and say, well, what I actually learned from this is the skill that I had there, because that job actually had the experience, even though it wasn't the main topic. One of the functions of that, and that one function is what you do specifically here, and that's kind of how I want to do that, whether it be inventing that grow box, the Hillbilly Spinner Rangers field manual about duct tape, and figuring out that you put a condom on your gun and it goes out there. That becomes like field manual training. Now they do that. You throw a tampon in the hole and you keep going. Everybody wants that. They want that at the cashier level. They want that to be the customer service. What is the register for the standard model? What makes customer happy on 40 miles an hour? About the timelines of, you can't physically. I wish it was all done at the causal speed and it just manifested there, but it doesn't. Cut this down a little bit. All right, so like I said, and again, for me, if you wanted to get into whatever math thesis this is for you, because there's a reason to want to do it, it pulls you. It's got some density to it. That's an AU concept. It's a derivative of an A mechanical weight, this ball rolling up and down the hill. Because you're this ball, you're going to be in this company, you're going to be playing plinko around in here. You got to decide what's the good time, what's the bad time. Do I got to give it up for screwing around time now, or do I, and say 2 years for manager, or just for a year solid, just absolutely smoke everything on the board, take every night and do that, plan the kid management with that. Clock potatoes are my favorite. On a resume, if you come at me with a clock potato that's full on nuclear fission about the size of the potato, the ohms, the distance of the copper wire that turns down the temperature index and the thermodynamics for how you had to box it off to get the absolute lumen measurement underneath that standard, you start from that and you graph off every one of them, and any potato you put in there against any wire is going to come out to the exact number that you say it's going to do. It's like looking at the floor and just seeing a mountain of rock, and only after years and years and years of seeing guys dump loads and run through block, which you'd say, well, that's a half-hour thing, it's a premium veneer, that's a, and that's going to take a certain amount of time to do some of those things. Let's manage that little box, and I'm going to put a little extra on it like the company does that says, I built all this. I know you do the work, but without kind of that managed system on that, and that's my little squiggle zone in there until, half hour later when I actually start to run that individual incident report that goes against all the golden rules of what that company standard is, because when the question comes up, what's the answer? Should it come from something that's mechanical there, or adjusted AU, AV, a velocity change? Does something change down there? That's this angle of it. And then, like I said, you can graph all that off. That goes into your turn raises. Like, you can do all that. I mean, cashiers have them, waitresses have them, customer service has them. If you did surveys on those things, you could actually have that, and then information, a suggestion box. And the invention on COVID and stuff these days with the glass walls and the barriers, there's a lot of reasons to do it. It's anything under the curve, which is just an acoustic flutter, not necessarily a plague. And workforce and programs do things like that. So you want to come prepared. You want to make sure you have that total overset on some of this stuff. And you should start whenever you can. You can study anything. You can go look at your hobbies or have whatever YouTube thing you want to do, but you also have the time to say, this is what's in the region. Dollar store general manager, what are they doing? What is general managers? What is the main function? That's something I want to do. If I was inherently looking for the manager's job, or was somebody in that position looking for better? Because you're doing quantum mechanics at that point. You're doing high-level computations, but you're just not graphing it in a way that mathematically it compounds with enough information, enough mass, that you're going to get through it like that. It's your horizon. You're moving at FMA equally to a lot of other people. Government's gravities, there are certain things adjusted that you are one equally to any other one, or zero net field that says this company has any company standards and rules, and that's generally how that works. You can bring that to the table. Then later on, if you want to make your own, when you feel comfortable and you've got a good safety net, you can absolutely go ahead and do those things. Stay motivated. A lot of days are hard. It's a getter factor, especially when these numbers stop making sense to other people, or the timeline isn't negotiated correctly on things. And it's not necessarily that it happens. Don't get too wild about it, because that's a job in itself. How do you handle that as a safety officer with two bulldozers that... And that's real. Yeah, that's anybody just walking into the country store working third shift, right? You know, that's earmuffs and, you know, looking at COVID today with the masks and stuff and the pay lines and the systems, and start going, you know, it is, but you got to understand, you know, on certain maths and certain ways that a lot of companies and a lot of the ways you got to function this stuff is going to come in, because like, graph that out from them brothers. It's like both of you need to graph it out. One of you is going to come out with a sensible answer in here based on whichever one those are. But I got 10 minutes to do it, and that's why there's somebody's job that does the safety on things. When you're in the stone pile, you can absolutely go with 300-pounders all day, but that's not always what I'm looking for in the best guy. You know, that doesn't always meld well with the 70-year-old, 16-year vet that's standing next to you every time. You know, and that's that local topography that defines a piece of metal that's just been bolted into that company for years. Or just something that weathers the storm well enough that any kind of real change in that function. So be mindful of that windage, the flag change. You know, when you go flying a kite that day, it might make a difference, Franklin, and you get struck by lightning. So this is my note. Hopefully this is good. If you have any real questions on it, I'll show you a lot of that right out. Catch you on the next one.